Thank you for watching and being here tonight. We've got a special show with guests like Hugh Grant and music from Doors. But before that, I want to do something a bit different. This monologue is for Republicans, specifically for those who are thinking about voting for Donald Trump. If there's someone in your life who's contemplating it, I encourage you to share this with them as a personal favor. I promise it's not the usual roast or political one-liners. It's an honest attempt at an open conversation. So if you're tuning in, thank you. Maybe you love Trump and will support him no matter what. Or maybe you dislike the alternative enough to justify your vote. Or perhaps there's a small part of you questioning if he's truly the right person to lead. And if that's the case, I want you to consider this message. Now, I don't have other responsibilities outside this job. My work is to keep up with all of it. Every rally, every speech, every tweet. And I'm not here to bring up the usual past controversies we all know. No grab 'em by the, or old stories that just recycle outrage. Instead, let's focus on what he's said, repeatedly, about important issues like healthcare, childcare, and the future of this country. Take healthcare. Trump has been saying he'd replace Obamacare with something better since he first ran. Every few weeks it was, "A plan is coming soon," or "Give me a few more months." 9 years later, and still nothing. Imagine if someone you trusted, like your barber, promised a plan to cut your hair for 9 years and never delivered. You'd eventually move on, right? On issues like childcare, the answers are just as evasive. Trump talks around it, throwing in familiar faces like his daughter Ivanka or vague mentions of numbers, but there's no clear plan. Real people facing real struggles need real solutions. Then there are the more bizarre issues he raises, things like forced gender surgeries in schools, things that simply aren't happening. Our schools aren't carrying out these surgeries. They don't even allow peanut butter in classrooms due to allergies. It's all imaginary, but he's chosen to build fear and distraction instead of tackling real issues. Windmills are another obsession. According to Trump, they're a danger to our birds and whales, potentially even causing cancer. Imagine sitting down at dinner and your grandpa suddenly starts on this tangent. It's almost surreal. We need leadership that addresses real-world challenges, not wild theories. Now, maybe you think I'm focusing too much on his offbeat comments, but these rants are not just podcast fodder. They're setting a tone that's trickling down, creating division, and encouraging people to question the truth. We all remember the crowd that gathered in Dallas, convinced that JFK Jr. would return as Trump's running mate. That's the level of distortion that's happening here. Let's talk about his ventures. Over the years, he's been more concerned with selling products, NFTs, trading cards, Bibles made in China, than with actually solving the problems of the nation. Remember when he was asked about his favorite Bible verse and couldn't name one? That's fine, he doesn't have to be religious, but pretending otherwise? It shows a pattern of dishonesty, a disregard for truth, that we just can't ignore. Even his stance on the last election follows this pattern. Trump says he'll only accept the results if he wins, casting doubts on the entire electoral process. If you lose, you accept it and move on. That's democracy. If we can't do that, the entire system breaks down. We're left with chaos, as we saw on January 6th. Politics is complicated, sure,